All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my Lunch and Learn, where each and every week we explore topics to help you elevate your mindset, be at your best, and radically expand your life and business. And today we are talking about something very real and very timely, because the new year is only 4 weeks away. Okay, New Year's is 4 weeks away, and I want you to really think: do you want to repeat what happened in 2025 next year, or do you want to see something bigger, brighter, even better than this year was? So, if you're someone who sets goals every year, works hard, and means well, but you end up in a lot of the same patterns, maybe you have unfinished goals and some of the same to dos following you from January to December, this conversation is for you. So, before we dive in, let me know in the chat where you're coming in from. And if you're catching the replay, type in replay in the comments. If it is your first time, I am so glad that you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I appreciate your presence, whether you are live or by replay. Now, for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Larissa McCouth, Canada's leading abundance mentor, CEO of Abundance Academy, and author of Stop Procrastinating Your Life Away, Discover the Secrets to More Time, Money, and Freedom. And I work with high achieving women who want more. They want more meaning, they want more alignment, they want more freedom, and they are done with rinse and repeat year after year after year after year after year. Now, behind the scenes right now in our community at the Abundance Academy, we are in the middle of our goal setting, dream stretching series. And this past Monday, in our very first session, we started with something called looking back. Okay, simple sounding thing, but we looked back on our year and we started honestly evaluating it. Why? So we could celebrate the wins and do more of those things, but also make better and even more deliberate choices looking forward, because there's some things that we probably didn't do as well as we'd like. So we want to learn from those opportunities and also celebrate and leverage what it is that we're doing. And this is why I wanted to bring this topic to you here today. So you're not just writing goals on a fresh page in your goal setting, dream stretching process, but you're actually learning from the pages that you've lived. Just think about that. Do you do that? Do you take the time to learn from the pages that you've lived in your book of life? So let's paint the picture. December rolls around. You're tired. You're juggling the holidays, deadlines, family, year-end chaos. Maybe you grab a notebook and you write something like, get healthy, grow my business, get a promotion, get better with money, have more money, be more present with family. And then January hits, you get your new fancy pants planner, you get a new workout app, you get a color-coded calendar, maybe even new Lululemons to take your attempts at working out to the gym, which you've inputted in your calendar, and you feel like this year is going to be so different. And you've got that. This year is going to be different energy. But you fast forward. February comes along. Work is busy. And it's dark and it's gray and it's icky and cold. And you're just like, it's just not cool. March, you're behind. March breaks, so busy again. April, you're just trying to play catch up because you've got a summer break coming up and you got to get what you can done before the kids are out of school. Summer comes, blink, it's gone. It goes by so fast and you're just like, I just need more summer. I just need a couple more months off. Fall comes around and you are like, I am going to start fresh in the new year. I'm going to make the rest of the year the best of the year. And sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. And so by December, you have the same goal. You're like, really need to get consistent. You have the same business goal. This year, I finally am going to hit this. The same clutter, the same financial habits, the same relationship patterns. Different thing is different dates, but same life. Okay, so you have different dates, same life. And that's not amazing. That doesn't feel good. You might have that intention to start a healthy workout or take your health seriously. So you do buy the shoes, you buy the Lulus, you have a 2-week streak at the gym. But then as things get busy, your workouts are the first thing to be sacrificed. And by December, instead of evaluating why that happened, you just get to go get healthier on the list again. And you hope it's going to be different. But deep down, you're not really going to make any changes because you're not set up for success. And so that's how you quietly recreate the same year with a lot of hoping and not a lot of results. So if you want to change you've got to change how you approach things. You can still have big goals, you can still have big dreams, and you can still have big responsibilities. But before you rush ahead, you want to do something that most people skip. And this is where you hit the pause button. You've actually got to like pull back before you can slingshot forward. And we call it calming down to speed up, where it seems like you're doing nothing, but you're actually using this and you're being intelligent. And we like to evaluate intelligently, honestly, and compassionately. When you really take the time to look back and evaluate what happened before, you're going to learn from this year before planning the next. You might have some ideas, but don't plan them out until you go, how did this year work out? What worked? What didn't? And go even deeper into those questions. You might use your past as data instead of as a weapon, and really look at, like, what were the actual concrete results? What were the numbers? At what point did I fall off? Look at the real life things in your calendar, in your bank account, in your energy. So you want to use your future as a guide, not just some fantasy, so that you can make decisions now more purposefully today. Don't wait till the new year comes around, but you want to start making your 2026 decisions today, and start acting and showing up differently now than you did last year. And so the difference between another rinse and repeat year and a year of actual meaning, momentum, and aligned results is evaluation. You've got to look back in an intelligent way and really come at it from a place of wisdom. So I want to define a couple things. First, evaluation is not, let me list 15 ways I failed and sucked. It is. It is an intentional process of reviewing your results to understand what actually worked, what didn't, and most importantly, this is the part that most people miss, and what was actually driving it, so that you can make better decisions moving forward. Okay, so evaluation is an intentional process of reviewing your results so you can understand what worked, what didn't, and what was driving it. And this is so you can make those better decisions moving forward. It is feedback, it is not a verdict. So, what is feedback? Feedback is data, 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 data. Business owners tend to like feedback, and they love data. Why? Because this is information about your actions and habits. Like, did you do the thing or did you not? This is not rocket science. Notice there's no emotion as to whether you did it or not. I didn't say how did you feel about it, but did you do the thing or not? It's your systems. What are the systems and structures and things you have in place to move you forward? Your emotional patterns, yes, all emotions are valid, but they're one piece of the puzzle. Okay, they're one form of data. They have to work with everything. And your alignment or misalignment with your values. So your health, your money, your relationships, your career, your time usage, all of it is feedback. You've got to take the time to look at it, to really intelligently evaluate it. So there's a difference between intelligent evaluation and a half-assed evaluation. Most people do a half-assed evaluation. What went well? What didn't? And then they move on. You've got to go deeper, okay? Yes, ask what went well, what didn't, but then go, what was the pattern driving these things that went well? What was the pattern that drove what didn't go well? What was the belief or the fear that was in the driver's seat? Right? What were the positive beliefs? What were the not so good beliefs? What were those fear-inducing moments? Where did I really abandon myself? At what specific moment in time? And sometimes you might find that you abandon yourself before you even attempt to do the thing. You might just like give up in your mind and your heart before you even attempt it. And you go through the motions of attempting it to just pretend you did it. Maybe you abandon yourself in the midst of it because it's too hard. Maybe you've done the thing, but then you just didn't finish that last piece of the puzzle and you give up when you're like 2 inches away from success. Where were you out of integrity with what you say and what you value? Where were you like, well, I said this and I meant this, but I actually did this, and that doesn't have integrity. And so this is the step that most people skip when planning their year. If they evaluate at all, okay, not a lot of people evaluate, but if they evaluate at all, they're like, what worked, what didn't, great. But what were some of those patterns, beliefs, fears, those moments of abandonment, those checkpoints of integrity that you took? Okay. You've got to look at how you showed up. And this isn't about judgment. This is not about judgment at all. This is about just taking a truthful and honest look at yourself and your life. Why? So you can keep doing the things that are working for you and you can make more intelligent choices moving forward. So, what do you need to know? Why do you keep repeating the same year, one year after another after another? Well, there's a reason the same goals keep showing up. Your brain is wired for efficiency, not reinvention. Okay, so it loves familiar things, it loves familiar patterns, even if they're unhelpful. So without evaluation, you're going to have the same story about time. Oh, I'm always behind. And that runs the show. You're going to have the same story about money. Oh, it's never enough. That runs the show. You're going to have the same story about you. Oh, I'm just so bad at follow through. And that runs the show. Cancel, 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 all of these. And you're going to put new goals on top of old stories and wonder why nothing changes. So when you have crappy soil in the spring and you plant a really awesome crop on crappy soil, if you don't have the right nutrients or the right soil, you're not going to grow what you want to grow. And so if you don't update this internal script, your external results are just going to recycle and they're going to be the same over and over and over. And evaluation is a critical part in how you update the script. It's one of those things that goes, stop, let's do things differently. So in a fire, you stop, drop, and roll. And if you don't hit the stop button and take the time to look, you're not even going to be aware this stuff is happening. Okay, so awareness is baby step number one, but it's huge. Second thing you need to know is time is a tool. You got a past, you've got a future, and you've got a now. And most of us relate to time emotionally. Maybe you might regret things from the past. You might have anxiety about the future. You might feel pressure in the present. However, if you flip it, you can use your past as like a personal research lab. It's not there to shame you. It is there to teach you. You can use your future as a compass and help you decide what truly matters and what doesn't. You've got to be truthful with yourself. Got to be truthful. The present is your steering wheel, and this is where you choose differently. But based on the things you want in the future, you choose differently now. Based on what you've learned about the past, you choose differently now. But you've got to choose differently if you want a different result. If you don't love the results you're experiencing in your life, and if you want different results, you've got to do things differently. You've got to think differently. You've got to feel differently. You've got to act differently. So let's say your 2025 money goal was to pay down debt and build a 3-month emergency fund. Okay, well, if you don't evaluate, you're just going to go, oh, I didn't hit it. Let's try again in 2026. If you do intelligent evaluation, you might realize you avoided looking at your accounts, even when you were stressed, especially when you were stressed. Okay, so if you committed to checking your bank accounts every week, but you didn't look at them, of course, out of sight, out of mind. Why would I bother checking where I'm at? Maybe you said yes to too many. Oh, it's just $50. Oh, just a little lunch, just a little dinner, just a little outing, just another bottle of wine, just another class, just another something with my kid, just another trip to Dollarama. It's amazing how much you could buy for $50, right? So too many. Oh, it's just a little bit. And then all of a sudden they add up to thousands and thousands of dollars that over time have a huge impact. Maybe you didn't have a system for your weekly money review. So one thing my husband and I started doing is we did this twofold. One, to yes, improve our financial situation, but we realized he lived in this box from a financial perspective and I lived in this box, and we didn't actually talk for years. we did our own thing and things just worked out, but we never actually had a conversation. And I was really bothered by it. So I'm like, okay, we need to go to money church together where you can do your thing, I can do my thing, but then we have to talk about it. We have to have communication. And so we are creating systems for our weekly money church. And we are creating guidelines and opportunities for that. Maybe you felt shame around money, so you procrastinated and you were just like, oh, you felt bad, so you just ignored it or avoided it. Now, your past behavior, it becomes information, it's not your identity. So even if you did some questionable things, don't think you're bad with money. It's really a matter of, oh, I chose not to do these things. I can choose to do these behaviors now. I am getting better and better with money. The more time I spend with money, the better I get with money. I'm a really financially curious person. That's identity. Instead of, oh, I'm so bad with money. Cancel that. So look at the difference between how you're showing up from an energetic perspective and how you're using your past, present, and future when it comes to your goals. Now, the next thing you need to know is evaluation can feel really personal. So if you've ever been evaluated or if you've ever evaluated yourself before, you might want to avoid it, because when you look at your results and they're not necessarily what you wanted, you might hear, oh, I'm not enough. Should have fixed this by now. How did you mess up again? And you might talk to yourself like often some of the things we say to ourselves are terrible. They're things we would never in our wildest dreams imagine saying to someone else, but we say them to ourselves and they're so unkind. We put ourselves down. But what this is inside your brain is this is your amygdala. This is your brain's alarm system, and you're trying to protect your identity and your sense of belonging. But for high achieving women with really high standards, that can feel brutal because you feel like you suck. So we do this quick surface value evaluation, and you're like, yeah, I know I need to set better boundaries. I need to have better habits. I need more discipline. And you're like, yep, I know it. Check it off. Wrote it in a journal for 5 minutes. And then you go back to the same pattern. And so you need to reframe it. You need to change how you perceive it. And it might take a little bit of time to do a very simple seeming thing, because your results don't define your worth. Your results reveal your patterns. And you might want to write that down. My results don't define my worth. My results reveal my patterns. And when you look at the patterns behind what it is that you do, it's not about you. It's not about your identity. It's your worth is non-negotiable, but patterns are changeable. You can change one thing in the pattern and change the result. So the one step I want you to be really, really intelligent about and very determined to do this year, as you evaluate your 2025 and prep for your 2026, is I want you to have an intelligent year-end evaluation. This is the one thing I want you to do. So we titled this talk, Stop Planning Your New Year in the Wrong Way. Why? Because the right thing you need to do is evaluate before you plan. And so doing this really structured and intelligent evaluation before you set your goals is the thing that almost everyone skips, and I don't want you to miss it. So I'm going to give you a few prompts that work really, really well. These are the kinds of things that we do with our clients, and this is how we really start looking under the hood. And so ask yourself, like, what are you truly proud of this year? Not just your achievements, but when did you show courage? When did you grow up emotionally? Where did you keep going when it would have been easier to quit? Where did you grow the most? In your health, in your boundaries, in your communication, in your money decisions, in your self-trust? And where did you resist growth or repeat patterns? Okay, so this is a big digging deep moment for what didn't work. Well, where did you know better but not do better? When did you say yes to things that were a no in your body, right? Your body does not lie. These physical signals where you're like, my chest is beating, my throat is tight, my back is tense. Those are signals that your body doesn't agree. If you're ignoring those signals, not good. But when did you say yes when those things were happening? Where did you abandon your own needs to keep this peace or avoid discomfort? Maybe you didn't want to make other people feel bad, so you just ignored yourself to satisfy others? And what did you complain about all year and not change? Okay, this is really important to look at the resistance or patterns that kept happening again and again. Also, look at what lessons you're ready to apply in 2026. This is not theory, it is practice. Um, what are you prepared to practice and actually do? And so, some deeper prompts are, what did you tolerate this year that you don't want to tolerate next year? Tolerate's a really powerful word. What promises did I repeatedly break to myself, and why? When you break your promises, you break your integrity, and that's a huge shot to your confidence. So if you want to have more confidence, keep the promises you make to yourself, but look at, like, why did you actually break those promises? What was it that triggered that response? What support did you actually need but didn't ask for? You're like, I know I need this, but I just feel bad. I don't want to inconvenience anyone. And you didn't ask for it. Where were you out of alignment with your values? Where did you succeed in ways that you haven't acknowledged yet? And so this is where evaluation, it really does become powerful. It moves from what worked and what didn't to who was I being? What was I believing? And what needs to shift in me for my goals to actually make sense? So doing a really in-depth evaluation process where you look at why you've kept repeating things year after year. You use time as a tool, get present, use the past and the future to get present. You really look at the difference between your habits and your identity. And then ask yourself intelligent questions about what you're proud of, where you grew, what you resisted or those growth patterns, and what lessons you're ready to apply. So this is a really simple process that you can use this week. Do a really great 2025 review. Go to a calm place. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Make a tea or coffee. Go to a coffee shop. Go to a restaurant. Get a booth by yourself. I think I'm out of water. So take a few slow breaths and really set an intention that you're not there to judge, you're there to understand, and do a real 2025 review. All of these things that we talked about. And if you're in business, if you're in business for yourself, I want you to look at your actual numbers, because numbers don't have emotions. Numbers tell a story that emotions led to. So do a really good review, and then turn these insights into standards, and really think about, how do you want this to affect your 2026? What's going to be a non-negotiable? What are you going to do no matter what? Are you going to stick to money church? Are you going to go to the gym? Are you going to prepay for your annual gym membership? Are you going to put the times in your calendar? One of the actions, just as an example, that I do a weekly accountability with a coach. And I have my own process I do, but I also do his, and I've been skipping it, but I also cheated on mine for a few weeks in a row because life got busy. So he had a moment with me and he's like, okay, girl, Larissa, do you need a consequence? I'm like, I totally do, or I'm going to cheat. So I'm like, please give me a consequence. Assign something to me, because I don't want to cheat myself anymore. And so what I did is, he said, if you do not have this document filled out by Sunday evening every week, I'm going to charge you double the monthly rate. And I'm going to keep doubling it and keep doubling it and keep doubling it every month until you do it. And so that was a really great motivator. I was cuddling my son one night. I was putting him to bed, and I remembered, I'm like, oh, it's Sunday night and I didn't do it. And I've been trying to do it on Fridays. I told my son, I'm like, if I don't do this, I'm going to owe double. And my son's like, that's a lot of money. You better get going. Give me a kiss fast and you go do your work. The next morning, what did my son do? He asked me, did you get your work done? And so this is my standard. It's like, I want this to be a non-negotiable, because when I have a great plan, I get great results. So what do you need to do differently so you don't repeat your patterns? For me, I needed external accountability, because I'm pretty good with most things, but sometimes it's easy to find good excuses, but this plan is so important to me. But Your evaluation, it really does become a bridge into a different year. This is not just about reflection. This is about forward movement. So reminder, the new year is just 4 weeks away. By the time you're watching this, it might be even fewer weeks away. Okay, it might even be less. But even though you might buy a new planner and set the same kinds of goals, I hope this year will feel different. You need to do something different if you want different results. So I am encouraging you to hit the pause button, look honestly at 2025, extract the golds, the lessons, the patterns, the truth, and really let the wisdom shape how you design your 2026. Because if you don't, your brain is going to default to familiar. Your nervous system is going to go on autopilot, go back to what it's used to. And 2026 is going to quietly become 2025 with just a different label and a new date on it. You honestly deserve so much more than a recycled year. Right now, I mentioned our clients are in the middle of a goal setting, dream stretching series throughout this month. And at the end of the month, I've also decided to lead a goal setting, dream stretching intensive where we're going to cover the same information, but in a condensed period of time in one day instead of over several weeks. But what we're going to do is we're going to intelligently evaluate the year. We're going to stretch into what's truly possible for 2026 and build an aligned roadmap. Okay. Key is aligned roadmap. So the goals match who they're becoming. And so if you're listening to this and thinking, you're like, I don't want another rinse and repeat year. I'm ready to be more deliberate. I'm ready to be more intentional. I want guidance. I want structure for my 2026 planning. And I don't want to do it all myself. Like, great ideas, but I want you to talk me through step by step and hit the pause button in between. Okay, I won't be talking this fast. Then I'd love to continue this work with you. If you are watching live, type in goals in the chat. If you're watching replay, send me a direct message on any of our social media platforms with the word goals, and we can have a no pressure conversation to see if this intensive or even this series is a good fit for you. If it is, we will walk through the process together. And if not, I will do my absolute best to point you in the direction of your next step so that you can plan your 2026 in a more intentional way. So don't be afraid to look back. Be afraid of not learning from what you see. Because your past does not define you, but if you let it, it can absolutely instruct you. So 2026 can be the year where you move with more clarity, courage, and alignment than ever before. So if this is of interest to you, if you're like, I need some help, I want to be in there, I want you in my corner, Larissa, mention goals in the chat or direct message me goals, and we will have a beautiful conversation. So thank you for being here with me. I am cheering you on as you close this year with wisdom and step into the next year.